You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Project Runway After Show.
Hey guys, Bing is for doing, and tonight we are doing another episode of Project Runway, episode 12. And tonight, it is not just myself, I also have the fabulous Emma.
Hi guys, Emma Kay.
But I did want to let you guys know, sorry, I'm Virginia. The rest of our usual co-hosts are kind of out and about. We do have Steph Z. I know you guys love her so much, but she's actually going to be out the rest of the season. If you guys remember from episode 2 this season, we had Ronnie in here and he was talking about the friend movement. Well, she is actually out there on the walk from Chicago to New York, which sounds like, I mean, that sounds so far, right? I think
long.
Yeah, I need to look more into it. But she's actually out there doing that. You know, it's the anti-bullying campaign that he had. And so you guys should definitely go look into that because it's a great thing she's doing. And then Amanda, well, you know, she's a model and it's Fashion Week all over, everywhere. So she's doing that. And Alina, I don't know where Alina is, but we miss all of them. But Emma and I are going to recap for you guys tonight. So let's just get right into it. It was the butterfly effect, and so, you know, they start off with Heidi and Tim on the runway, and they let them know that they're going to be going on a little bit of an adventure. And this season, they seem to be going on a lot of field trips, which I think is really good for them because it gets them out of, you know, just being in the same sewing room every day. And, you know, I really think it helps them kind of rejuvenate. So they tell them that they're going to go to Sweetbriar Nature Center, and it turns out to be a butterfly sanctuary. Have you ever been to one of those?
I have not, but it looked beautiful.
I know. I've heard that, like, they have them all over. I remember in Denver they had one. It was called the Butterfly Pavilion, and they like can land on you and do all kinds of cool stuff, but I've actually never been to one. But yeah, it looked beautiful. So Tim comes out and he tells them that this is the L'Oreal challenge, and they have Billy B from L'Oreal Paris, and they're promoting, like, I mean, you guys know, if y'all are watching the show, it's like tons of commercials throughout the whole episode. I mean, it's just really in your face. So they're promoting the Voluminous Butterfly Mascara. And they tell them they're going to have an avant-garde look, but it's also going to be paired with makeup. So it's really makeup heavy. And they have 30 minutes to sketch and look all over the Butterfly Pavilion. Did anything kind of stand out to you, Emma, while you were there?
I think it was just the contestants and the different approaches everyone was taking into the whole challenge. Some were taking pictures, some were actually sitting down sketching, and some were just, you know, wandering around. But that's just they use that as their muse to create something. So it didn't matter what people were doing. I could definitely see they were inspired, because being in a room for X amount of hours or X amount of days and not really getting any inspiration from the outside can mean something when you're in a room full of nature and color and these beautiful butterflies.
Right.
So it was definitely fun to see everyone enjoying it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, so they show a little bit of everybody there. They showed Alexandria, and, you know, she's kind of like the goth girl, and so, of course, she was attracted to the dark butterfly. Then we see Justin, who he immediately picked up on the albino butterfly, and I knew, like, you know, he's just so wonderful because even though he is deaf, he overcomes those challenges, but they do bring it up. And he even says he was attracted to the albino one because he does feel like the outsider. And, you know, so he wanted to show how even though he's the outsider, it can still be beautiful and unique. And then Braden was the one that was kind of all over the place. He was like, I don't know, movement, butterflies, you know, whatever. And so they wrap it up with saying, okay, we're going to go to Mood, and they suggested to spend $500. Now, you know, they said that this is your last challenge, and, you know, if they were saving up this whole time, why would you even care? You know, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, blow the whole budget. Let's go. This is your last challenge. And that's exactly what some of them did. Actually, all of them. I think they all, the most expensive one was Alexandria. She did like $1,100.
Brandon was the one that came under budget, like $600.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah, but I mean, still, that's, I mean, I don't know. I would spend it all. So, you know, a lot of the different things they were saying, because it's avant-garde, you know, as soon as they say that, I immediately think huge, you know, Paris couture, you know, huge pieces. And, you know, so Dom said she wanted to do something with expensive prints. Helen said she wanted to do some sort of cloak and for it to be luxe. And so you see, and Justin said he wanted to do some sort of piping detail. So you see them pulling all these really just beautiful fabrics, and they're, you know, showing, oh, these zippers are $6. Or was it zippers or?
It was.
Or piping.
The piping.
The piping. It was like $6 for a yard, or, you know, whatever. And he was like, let's just take it all of it. Just give it to me. So I mean, it's got to be fun, because just being able to spend that much money on those cool fabrics, you know. And then so after they get back from that, they have, was it Tom Bachik? He comes in, he's the nail consultant.
Yes.
And my nails look awful right now. I really need a mani-pedi, so I was just like, oh, of course this is the nail challenge. But it's so cool what you can do with nails these days.
You can, especially the clip-ons. You just put them on, and, you know, you would never know that it's just clip-on nails. They look amazing.
Yeah, and like the ombre effects that they were doing, and yeah, it was just really, really neat. And so everybody kind of had their time to talk with Billy B and say, you know, this is the look they were going for. But did you notice when they were talking, everybody was like, ooh, I want to do this butterfly eye, but don't tell anybody. But they all wanted to do that same butterfly eye, so it's kind of funny.
Exactly.
What was your favorite nails from there that they were showing?
I did like the ombre look. I did like Helen's nails, but I also like Dom's.
Yeah.
I mean, I think each one of them really did match the outfit, and they did a great job where it didn't take away from the outfit, but it complemented the outfit. So they did a good job matching the nails to the outfits.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, Helen really likes to do that pointy nail that
Which is really in right now.
It is really in. I am just such a traditional, like, I like my regular square cut. But I see the girl, like, I get my nails done in downtown LA, and I see those girls coming in with like their pointy fingers, and I'm like, how do you do anything with that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm traditional. I would hesitate, you know, to have those, and but I think I would try it once, you know, just for fun.
Yeah.
If I'm not working in the office.
Right? I know. I think I would come home and my husband would be like, what is going on with your nails?
Halloween. There you go.
Oh, I'm going to be Princess Peach for Halloween, so that's not going to work. I don't think, maybe a goth Princess Peach. Okay. So, you know, we see them in the workroom, and, you know, they're all kind of figuring out what they're doing. We see, what is Braden? He's making these crazy little tubes. What did you think about that? I was like, what is he going to do with these little tubes?
When he's making the noodles,
noodles. That's what he said.
I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, first of all, you're sewing it by hand. That's going to take you a long time, and you really don't have an idea of what you're going to do with it. You're just making it, hoping to use that as an accessory, you know, just to use on the dress. So you're spending way too much time on your first day. So I think he should have worked on the actual piece and then concentrated on the accessories afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like he just, you know, he knew he was going to do something with them, but yeah, I definitely was worried for him because it didn't look like anything. I was like, what is he going to do with these noodles?
It's time consuming, you know, sewing them by hand.
Yeah, and then we see everybody, I felt like a lot of people wanted to do the cocoon thing. You know, we see Justin do the cocoon, and then seems very literal. You know, Helen was doing a cocoon. You know, and when she was saying she was going to do this ombre effect with this dress, you know, as she was doing it, I was just like, I don't really see the ombre.
Me neither.
You know, it kind of looked like all the same color orange. So I was a little bit confused. So, you know, we see Tim, he comes in, And he first talks to Dom, and, you know, she's questioning, you know, should I do this print? Should I not? Should I add more print? And he basically is like he just gives her a look like, what do you mean? Like, why are you asking me? You should know better. And she doesn't know what he's talking about. She's like, I don't know what that look is, Tim. You know, and she's just so playful and fun. Like, all of her designs this whole season have always just been very happy. And, you know, and so he basically said, go with your gut. Like, why are you even questioning it? You know, so I think that just kind of really showed how far she's really come and how much he believes in her.
But I think it was good that she at least had the skeleton of the outfit, and she knew what she wanted to do. She knew she wanted to do a jumpsuit.
Right.
That was one thing that she was concerned about. The other contestants were kind of iffy about what they wanted to do, the print, the color, but she knew head on that she wanted to do a jumpsuit.
Right, and just the structure of the jacket that she was constructing, I mean, even that was playful. You know, it had this huge, you know, skirt to it. And excuse us. And, you know, it was just really, really fun and voluminous. And that's what couture, or not couture, avant-garde. Mm-hmm. You know, it's always, you know, imaginative, playful
layers. And,
yeah. It's, you know, it's just whatever you can think of. You know, it's not necessarily what you're going to wear. Although, you know, as we see at the end, Emmy Rossum totally wanted to wear that. I would want to wear that. It's so cute.
I think it's like for one night that you want to be different and you want to be something that you can't wear every day. So it really has to be, to me, an extreme.
Right. Exactly.
But at the same time, you want it to look couture and you want it to look sexy and classy, expensive at the same time.
Right. It should look like one of a kind, like you've never seen it before. And I feel like that really throws a lot of people off, because even the term avant-garde, it's like, oh my gosh, it has to be this huge, fabulous, grand piece, you know, so I think that gets in their heads. And as we see with Helen, you know, she just has a breakdown, like complete breakdown with Tim. But, you know, we've seen her in every episode. She kind of, you know, flails about and whines and cries. I mean, I love Helen. But, you know, like, this is kind of her thing that she does. And he's like, snap out of it. You have to rally, because this is it. This is your last challenge. And she was just getting in her own head.
You know, I don't blame them. It's probably stressful. I haven't been put under a deadline to create something. I'm usually at my own pace.
Right.
So I can imagine how much more stressful it is if you can't get the look that you want, especially if you're timed.
Right.
So emotions do flourish and they come out, and you can't help it. But I like how she jumped right back in, and she was like, okay, I really needed that. I needed that kind of like kick, and now I'm, you know, back into gear and ready to go.
Yeah, and so after her, we see Alexandria, and, you know, Tim says he really likes this look, and I was just not a fan of it from start to finish. Maybe it's just because I'm not goth, even though I'm wearing dark gray today. Normally I'm in bright colors, but, you know, I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, it looks like I could make it. I felt like I could just go buy some black and gray fabric, wrap them around something, and, you know, call it avant-garde.
Honestly, I wasn't a fan of it either. I'm just looking at it, and the fabric, first of all, looked cheap to me. I wasn't liking the fabric at all, and it just seemed like she tied knots on the dress. And when he said, I like it as this, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you see in that? It's not something that, you know, you see in Fashion Week, or you see, you know, down the, you know, on a red carpet. I don't think anyone would wear that unless you're doing a special type of theme you're going
like Met
for.
Gala, like goth or mummies or something crazy like that. Yeah, you know, and I was always, you know, like, I always question, maybe it looks really different in person.
Probably.
You know, because we're not seeing it close up, and that is why they changed, you know, the runway this season, where they actually get to see all the pieces in person, because, I mean, who knows what's really translating, but I just doubt that it was that much more fabulous in person. So I agree with you. And then we see Braden, and he has his original inspiration was he wanted to do like a tank top and skirt in the front, and then like a gown in the back. So it was like a mullet dress. Like, that's what I was thinking it was going to look like. But, you know, then he has this really pretty, you know, top and skirt. I really liked the white in the front. It looked really beautiful. And then he had this crazy, like, brownish, goldish fabric. Do you remember that? Because then it disappeared.
I think it was like kind of like black and white print, like damask print type of fabric that he had. And yeah, I was surprised that he didn't use that.
Yeah, because Tim was like, oh, the back is fabulous.
Exactly.
You know, and then Tim was like, what are these tubes all about? And he was like, oh, I'm just going to put them up here. And then Tim was like, no, don't do that. But then he put them on the, you know, around the waist, and they looked really good. And Tim was like, okay, I see it. There is some genius in this. Go with it. So I don't know where the disconnect from the back, you know, why he actually disconnected the back. But yeah, I thought that was really strange. Did you remember seeing anything about that?
No, I don't think he mentioned anything about that. I just remember seeing it, but it was for such a quick second that, and then they didn't show it after that, so it didn't really process with me that. But I did like the color. I like the contrast, so I'm actually sad he didn't use it.
Yeah. You know, but the white, I don't think it was like stark white. It seemed like an ivory. Like a really pretty. Yeah, because stark white is just terrible on people's skin.
Yes.
Okay, so they go home. So Braden actually, so he was trying to just figure out what he was going to do. He said he's going to sleep on it, figure out what to do with these tubes. So
that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
He slept on it and decided he doesn't want to.
Pulled off the back. So, you know, they come back into the workroom the next day, and all of them are just at a halt. They're like, what is going on? And, you know, they go to commercial, and then, so I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, what is in that crazy room? And they show all of the designers that have got kicked off, all of their looks. And, you know, every season's a little bit different. Sometimes they have all the winning looks lined up. Sometimes they have the losing looks lined up. But I guess this season they did not have the losing looks lined up. So then everybody kind of, you know, I thought it was just going to be, you know, like, this is the real deal. These are all the people that got kicked off. Don't let yours be next. But it actually turns out that they have to do a second challenge. And so for the second challenge, they have to select one of the losing designs and transform it into something winning. So I thought that was really neat, just because, you know, it kind of breaks up the process of what you're doing, like take a step away from it. And that can actually be really helpful, you know, because, I don't know, they can get like fresh eyes on it, basically. And so they're all a little bit excited about that because they get a whole extra day to work on it instead of having to go to the runway that day. You know, and a lot of these looks, you know, they weren't terrible, and so they don't have to reconstruct like a whole other gown or whatever. So, you know, they really get time to work on their actual real like avant-garde piece. So I think that really helped them.
It did, and I think it's different when you're looking at it, when you're looking at another designer's design from your eyes, because you always have so much criticism for someone else, and you're like, oh, I could have done this with it, and I could have done that with it. So it was a really good opportunity for them to show what they're capable of doing, even if it's transforming something that's already made. Yeah. But it really touched me when Justin picked his own piece, and I knew from the beginning that he was going to go with his own piece, but just seeing his emotional roller coaster up until that point was really touching.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be really tough because I mean, he's got to be thinking two things. Like, one, that, you know, like, it puts him back in the place of where he was that day, that he did get kicked off. And then two, it's like, okay, I can't screw it up again because this could send me home again, you know? So I thought that was really, really interesting. But, you know, I think the advantage that all of them had in this was they were all standing on that runway and they all saw and heard the reasons why they got kicked off. So they, like, Dom immediately knew when she took Jeremy's red jacket that it was too matronly, so she knew to like sex it up, you know. So I'll just go through that. Dom picked Jeremy's, which was the red jacket with the floral printed dress, which was terrible, and she made it into something really fabulous. Alexandria picked Miranda's, which was those red plaid pants and that white shirt that was just awful. Brandon picked Sue's, which was from that unconventional challenge, which was the placemat dress thing that also horrible. And then Helen picked Kate's, which, Kate, I love you, Kate, but still it wasn't a good look last week. And yeah, so I think Helen picked Kate's because they were so close and she really wanted to be like, this is what you should have done and you would have been here. So okay, so they have the rest of the day. Did anything else stand out to you in the workroom?
I mean, there's,
other than panic by all of them.
There's so much going on, you know, with the models coming in and trying on the actual clothes, and, you know, them freaking out last minute because they don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, Alexandra did have the breakdown where she had to call back home and speak to the students that she teaches sewing to, just to get an inspiration to continue moving forward, because she's on a show and she's inspiration for people that don't get the opportunity to be on there. So other than that, I'm trying to think.
I mean, that was kind of strange, though, because that does bring up the fact that Alexandria seems to have no friends on that show. And I don't know if it's because she is withdrawn or just because, I don't know what it is. Like, she separates herself from everybody, it kind of feels like.
She does, and I do sense that too. I think she's probably using the tactic that she needs to keep people at arm's length, just so she doesn't get too close with them and it doesn't affect her ability to bring, you know, amazing pieces to the runway. Because when you get emotionally attached to people and you start becoming friends, it can't hurt you in a way. So
Yeah.
I don't know if she's using that, you know, technique just
Or
to...
maybe she's just not that nice.
Or maybe... I was trying to be nice.
You don't have to. Okay, so then runway day, we see all of them go to hair and makeup, and, you know, Tim says they have 2 hours to send their models to hair and makeup. And I know they do a lot of commercials on the show, within the show, but I mean, they do a really awesome job.
They do.
I really, really loved some of the hair and makeup looks. I wish I could have them at my house every day.
I personally, I don't know how they do they choose the models for each one of the looks or each one of the designers, but I think that the designers should pick their own models. Maybe it's just the idea for, you know, next season for Project Runway, because they know what piece they imagine in their head and they would look good on certain people. And I think some of the colors that were chosen on certain models would have been better if the models were switched up, because it would have brought out the colors of the dresses.
Yeah, and they used to do that in seasons before. I'm not sure how they do it now. You know, they even used to have this whole show after the runway, and it was like a show about the models and, you know, how they would win, you know, a spread in the magazine when their designer would win. So I don't really know how they do it, but you're right, because, I mean, certain colors look good on some people and certain colors don't. And so I definitely think that could play a part in it.
Like, a lot of the dresses I feel like were downplayed just because it didn't stand out, because you didn't, I mean, when you put orange on, you know, a lighter skin, it doesn't stand out that much. It blends in and it looks off, versus, you know, putting it on a darker skin. It's going to look more extravagant and it's going to look more expensive. So the models, I think, played a big role as well.
Right, because I mean, when you do a runway show, like picking your models is a really big, like, it's a huge process of it also. So yeah, that's a really good point. Okay, so getting to the runway, Heidi shows up in a fabulous shirt. I loved it. Did you notice it? It was like sheer and her like bra showed through, but it was like really classy the way that they did it. I loved it.
I loved all her outfits. I mean, the leather skirt, everything.
The leather skirt was pretty hot. Okay, so then, you know, she says we have Zach, Nina, and the special guest today is Emmy Rossum, which I love. She's so cute. Yeah, how could you not love her? Okay, so getting right to it. So they show the avant-garde looks first, and then they show the transformations. So starting off with Dom, she just had the most playful, fun outfit. I mean, it was a jumper that she didn't even have to show the jumper, and it was adorable. And it was like pinkish purple with all kinds of print. And then the super girly jacket that, you know, it had a great waist, which, you know, just had a skirt to it, which was huge and fun. And there was just a lot of movement. And I feel like whenever her models walk down the runway, they really show how fun the outfit is and how great they feel in it, because it's just, I don't know. It just brings joy whenever I see it.
I thought it was very edgy. It was sexy, and it looked very comfortable at the same time. It didn't look like a piece where the models could barely walk in it. So I do have to give it to her. The colors were amazing. It all played with one another, and you know, you did see the muse, the butterfly muse that inspired her
Oh,
for the
absolutely.
outfits. And the jacket, even without the jumpsuit, I think would have been perfect. Like if she was wearing it, you know, if you could wear it at night over a dress, you could wear it, you know, with pants, with something else. So you could dress it up with so many different styles.
Yeah, it would look cute just thrown over a dress with heels. Like heels with a
Exactly.
pop of color would be really, really fun. Okay, and then we have Alexandria, which still, I didn't think anything changed, and I feel like she was still a goth mummy. I don't understand it, and Heidi liked it, and I don't understand. Like, I know Heidi likes to, I mean, she likes to explore with all types of fashion. You know, she's a model. She can wear anything and do anything like that, but I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it.
I didn't like it at all, because at the end of the day, whatever you put out in the runway, especially for designers, the mass market, or you know, the mass of your customers need to enjoy it as well. It can't be just a supermodel who looks amazing in every single piece of clothing she puts on. So it needs to match your market, and I
Right.
don't think every individual will go buy that outfit.
Well, and
It would be very selective.
And like the other thing is, like, you know, an avant-garde look is supposed to be like a dream or an imagination for a ready-to-wear piece. I don't see what would take that to ready-to-wear. Maybe like a raggedy tank top. I mean, I don't know. I just wasn't that impressed.
Maybe if she added details like stones or something, brought out like shine, jewels, something like that, I would have been like, okay, it's okay for me. But I completely did not like it
Yeah.
at all.
I felt like I could do it. I'm sorry. And then
We'll bring in next week.
yeah, I'll make it this week. I'll wear it next week. Okay, so then we have Helen, who, you know, she had this huge, crazy cocoon thing that Tim was like, don't do the cocoon, and that, which also looked very Halloween-y with the orange. But, you know, she had described this ombre thing, and I thought it was going to be fabulous. And I love Helen. I think she has great work, but I feel like it just got lost. Like, and like they said, the texture, or, you know, whatever the chiffon technique that she did, it's been done before. And we've seen it on Project Runway before, and it was beautiful, but the color, I just wasn't that impressed with the color.
I wasn't impressed with the color. I wasn't impressed with the shape, and I wasn't impressed with the material. Chiffon is really hard. You know, it's a very hard material, especially on, you could only wear it on certain bodies, because after a while it stretches, it becomes loose. And when the model was walking, I seriously thought she was going to trip on her face.
Yeah.
Because the bottom was, you know, it didn't have any space for the model. It was weird. Like, I can't even explain it. I felt like it was high and low. It wasn't symmetrical. And the detailing on it, I put in my notes on my prom dress. You know, it's something that
Right.
you would wear to prom. It's not something that's avant-garde.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, you know, she could have done something like a big collar up the back, or, you know, maybe just made a huge train. Like, there was different things that she could have done that made it avant-garde, but I mean, that dress, I mean, it looked like off the rack.
I think she should have went with her original idea that she had, and she shouldn't have altered it towards the end, because it obviously did hurt her. We haven't really seen the decision, but I think for me, just as a viewer, it took her ratings down.
Yeah, I mean, she could have just sent it down. She already had it done. Okay, so then we get to Justin, and he had this fabulous coat or cloak that was like black, and it had all of this piping detail that he hand sewed around rope that he made. He didn't make the rope, he made the piping. Let me just clear that up. And then she takes it off, and it's this really cool, I don't even know how to describe it, like whitish, bluish steel.
I think it was like steel gray, probably like maybe a little bit of blue as well. So it
but
had
like piping also of
Yes.
some sort in the bust, and it had great movement in it, and everybody said it was like the best piece that he has made, which I still feel like his execution level isn't as high as, you know, somebody like Helen or Brayden, but it was very imaginative.
It was. It definitely was. I liked the detail on the jacket. I did like the lace, and I did like how Tim gave him the advice not to use the original fabric he wanted to use for the black coat, because it was a little thicker, and with the lace and second fabric, you're able to see the material, the dress underneath. So it did give that effect, like a glowing effect underneath, and you were able to see. I did like the details on the dress. At first, I wasn't very fond of, you know, the whole the peplum style dress, but I grew into it once I saw the jacket and how it was flowing or laying over the dress. So I would definitely keep the jacket on.
Yeah.
The whole time, because it just gives that effect, like dramatic effect.
Yeah, no, he did a really, really good job with that challenge. And then we have Braden, and he made that really interesting white piece. It looked like there was just so much fluidity to the fabric. Like, it was just, however he constructed it, it was impeccable. You know, it was like it was flowing around her. Didn't you feel that? And then he put those noodles on. I don't know. It was like, it felt like an angelic alien.
Yes.
like it was weird, but she was so pretty all at the same time.
It was. It reminded me a lot of ancient and modern combined together.
Right. Like Greco.
Exactly.
But modern.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
I totally see that.
It did remind me of the whole, you know, ancient Greek goddess type of look, but he added a modern effect to it.
Of noodles. Of really weird noodles. But it was really cool. Like they said, every angle had like this really cool flow and bounce and just happiness to it.
And that's what it's about. You're supposed to be dramatic, but at the same time, it's supposed to be a piece where it's pleasing to look at.
Right.
It can't be too dramatic where you're like, okay, you know, take that away, like I'm done after 1 second. So you kept on wanting to look at the piece because it was so clean, but it had so much effect to it that I can't even describe it. Like, I was thinking white or off-white is usually boring color to put out depending on how you dress it up or how you style it. But I liked it. I liked it that it was so simple, but at the same time, it was rich.
Yeah, and it still showed off her figure. Like, that's the other thing. Like, it was like a piece of art, but it wasn't so much that it consumed her. Like, it wasn't.
Well, now I see what Tim was talking about, because I did like how the upper body and the top was simple, because it was all about the back and it was about the skirt. So if he did put the noodles on the shoulder how he originally wanted to do it, I don't think I would have been so much of a fan as, you know, how he chose to do it on the waistline. So I did like that decision he made.
Yeah, no, that was one of my favorites of the night. Okay, so then we have the reworked looks. And we'll start with Dom. She had that really awful piece by Jeremy, and she transformed the jacket. And I didn't realize it until they showed it off of the runway, but she made this old skirt that was that terrible floral print into a top and then had a vest over it. I thought that was just one jacket, so it was really, really cool how she did that. And she added like some leather to the neck and made it like a really cool collar. And then she just did a simple black pencil skirt. I mean, I thought that was a really safe way to go.
I definitely like that as well. I didn't think it was too popping, like too out there. The black skirt really did tone it down, because there is so much color on the top that you need something to just make a neutral on the bottom. So I did like that she used the black skirt, and I like the jacket with the sleeves cut off. And the neckline that she did. So it did give him more of a fun, flirty, like but edgy, executive type of look at the same time. So
yeah, no, I mean, it really just gave her personality in that look, and I really liked it. Okay, so then we have Alexandria, and she redid the pants and the top. Those really awful red plaid pants. And she made them into really cute red pants. I mean, I wouldn't wear it. It's not my style. But she did make them a lot sexier. I really did not like the vest. And I don't remember who was it that said it looks like, you know, an Avril Lavigne backup dancer. But that's exactly what it looked like. What did you think?
I think that was Nina. I think she mentioned that, and I was like, does Avril Lavigne even have any backup dancers?
Right?
But I did like the pants, the reconstructed version of it. I wouldn't really wear plaid, but I think if I were to wear it, I would wear it with a black simple top because there's so much going on in the pants, and she already has the leather waist trim and the pockets. I did like that. I did not like the boots. I think I would have dressed it up in heels, you know, as I said. But that's just my personality, and everyone is different. But I think if she really wanted to show and reconstruct, she should have, because the bottom of the pants, it has so much definition that I think she should have put heels and, you know, just made it a little bit higher because it was hiding in the boots.
Yeah.
So you didn't really understand what was going on with the bottom of the pants. I don't know what was going on with the feather.
I don't know what was going on with that or that vest that she painted. I mean, if she would have done just like a really cute, flowy white tank, like a silky white tank and heels, it would have been like edgy, sexy, you know? And I think that's where she missed the mark. She went for like...
I did like the cut, though. It was very fit.
Yeah.
But once again, I would have dressed it up in heels and, you know, maybe a white or a black top with it as well.
Yeah. Okay, so on to Helen. She reworked Kate's look, and it was amazing. If I had the body to wear this, I would totally wear it. I mean, midriffs are so in right now, and that outfit fit that girl like a glove. Like, I don't even know how she did that. That was crazy.
Ew, the model had a lot to do with it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but I mean, she made that pattern. Like when Heidi was going over the back of the seams around like the back area, that was great. Like it was really, really nice seams.
Everyone has a niche, and I think hers is the sewing details that, and she really does know the curves and what looks good and what would fit each body type.
Yeah.
So I did like that, but I didn't see how it was a recreation of the original piece. Maybe I missed something, but I felt like it was a completely different outfit, and it wasn't reconstructed. So
it was a completely different outfit. I think just because like of what she was going for, and it was kind of like the same color.
Was the skirt part of the original piece? The material?
I don't know.
No, right? She used a completely different material to make a skirt. I think it was just the top that was part of the old piece.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't really know. But the length was a nice length too.
It was.
Like that, right?
I liked the double slit in the back of the skirt. I think that was definitely a new effect to add on. You don't really see that. So I did like that, and I did like the top, how it just made her shoulders look so much, it looked broad, and it looked very feminine at the same time.
I did too. Yeah, that was a great top. Okay, so then we have Justin, and I don't remember what he did. I just wrote strange top.
Justin did the dress.
What? Hold on, let me look back at my notes.
Justin chose his original piece.
Oh, right.
The original dress he had. So he recreated a new dress, which it was cute, but once again, it was like something you would wear to prom. I wasn't really impressed. It was definitely more impressive than the first piece.
Yes, definitely. It wasn't a foaming vagina. But you know, the thing that I had a hard time with was it just me, or did the top like bust line look off? Okay, it did.
It did, but I think that's what
was that purposely?
I think it was purposely. Because it was like one on top of the other, but it was like a little bit higher than one another.
Okay.
So
because that just, I don't know, I have a hard time with asymmetries like that, and it was just really distracting.
But what I really wanted to know is when they were given the challenge to reconstruct a dress that was already made, what were the judges going for? Were they going for, let's see what they can do with it, or let's see if they reconstruct a dress that can be sold and can be, you know, will be worn? Because his dress, even though they liked it, and I applaud him for choosing his own dress that he got eliminated in, but I wasn't a fan of it, and they gave him a lot of credit. Yeah,
I was really surprised. I didn't know if they were just being nice. I kind of felt like they were just being nice. But yeah, sorry, that was not a good look for me. Okay, so then we have Brayden. And so he reconstructed that napkin, or not napkin, what was it? Placemat dress.
Placemat.
And I really liked this look.
I did too.
I thought it was really hot. Like, did you see the side, how it was just completely open and you got like a little hint of side boob? And so this is where I think that it wasn't supposed to be that they used the same material. I think they were supposed to use it as inspiration because he only used one of those placemats.
Because he ran out of material.
Because he ran out. But so he said, I didn't use the material. Instead, I took, the one shoulder and the same silhouette and I made it into a much better gown. So I think it was just supposed to be like an inspiration, partially use the fabric, and maybe that's why Helen and Braden got away with it. But I thought he did a great job.
I liked it. I definitely liked the hint of placemat, he put in the dress. So
yeah.
I liked it, but once again, it didn't stand out to me. It was just cute. It was better than the other ones, and I think the reason why we're saying it was good because we saw other pieces that weren't so good.
Right.
So automatically your eye just catches the one that's better than the rest.
Absolutely. Okay, so then they have a little chat, they see everything. Were you surprised at all how favorable the judges talked about Dom and Braden? I mean, it was like there was no question. They were like, she's good, he's good. Now who else are we deciding on? I mean,
but I didn't have any question about it either. That
from this one challenge, I feel like Braden struggled in the past, but I mean, I guess that's what they're looking at, So right away they already knew that. Oh wait, before we go into that, they asked them why should you go to Fashion Week and who would you choose to go with you, so everybody kind of tells their own story of why they want to go and pick somebody. Well, everybody got picked except for Alexandria, and I don't know what she did to them. Maybe it's just because she distanced herself and didn't bond with any of them, but none of them picked her. Out of 5 people, not one person picked you. That's got to be really sad.
It is, but at the same time, a lot of them were saying, I'm friends with Helen, I'm friends with Dom, so you can't be picking people based on your friendship. It really does have to be a very solid collection that's put on the runway that makes sense. So, a lot of it was because of their friendships with one another. They felt like, oh, I need to choose so-and-so. I'm not saying anything about Dom and Brandon. I mean, their pieces were amazing. So, but the fact that they were saying, I'm choosing Helen because she's my friend.
Well, I think that was just a little part of it, though, because I feel like they don't really like her designs either. Like, they even said that they weren't really a fan of their designs, and if it was my friends, I would probably think my friends' designs were better than this person that doesn't talk to me. Maybe if she was really strong and won over and over and over again, but I mean, Helen won out of this whole season, she's won like 4 challenges. So she has the highest record out of everybody. So even though Dom said she's my friend, I also think it's because she knows how good she is. So yeah, I don't know.
But I think the judges agreed as well. They said for Alexandria that they weren't feeling the look she had, even though Heidi was being the devil's advocate and playing the good cop and bad cop, with the model. She was really siding with Alexandria, and I was surprised because
Me too.
I was just wondering, what do you see in that dress?
She likes that stupid mummy look. Like,
it's like a wrap. Like, you go to a bridal shower and they give you a paper towel and they're like, okay, wrap this person.
Exactly. That's what it felt like.
So I didn't know what she was thinking, and I don't know if it will weigh any decision on the elimination for next week, but she is a fan of her, so we'll see what happens.
We shall. Okay, so they bring everybody back after they have their little chat, and they tell...
Okay, hold on. Let's go back to when they bring the models out and they have to look at the outfits
go ahead.
Close up, and how Emmy was like, I want to take this jacket off.
She was so cute. She was like, I'll put it on right now. And she looked adorable in it. Like, it was ready to go.
And she was so cute. I'm like, and when she put it on, I'm like, you're putting it on over a leather jacket. What are you doing? But it felt like so comfortable, and she just put it on.
And she did a little twirl.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would have put it on. It's really cute. I want it.
So, and it was interesting to see the details when you look at the clothes up close and personal. So I would definitely love to see them and see the materials and just the whole fit, because it looks so different when you're viewing it on camera and when you're viewing it in person. So I know a lot of people will probably be offended if we make certain comments about certain dresses, but you know, we're just watching what's on TV, and sometimes
we see what you see.
Yeah, sometimes it's not the best quality and it is misleading. So you know, I think that's just one thing that I wanted to point out to people, that it can look different in person, but we're just making comments based on television and based on what we see for the moment that we're watching it.
Yep. Okay, so getting back to it. So they all go out there, and right away, you know, Heidi praises Dom and Brayden, and then tells Brayden that he is the winner of this challenge. But they didn't say what they won. Did you ever catch that?
Originally, I thought it was the L'Oreal Makeup Challenge. Maybe they get to do... I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't catch.
Normally they tell you what they win, so they didn't really ever tell us what they won. If you guys caught something we didn't, let us know. But I don't know. Maybe it's something next week. They'll say, "Oh, because you won this, you get an extra $1,000 or $5,000 or something like that." I'm sure there is a reason for it. We just don't know it yet. And then they also let Dom know that she will be showing at Fashion Week, and she starts to cry, and then Zach starts to cry. He's so funny. I was like, oh, he's not as mean as he seems sometimes, because sometimes he's a little snarky.
He was a really big fan of her this week.
Yeah, he loved her, and I love her. I think she's going to do great. So then we get down to the last three, Alexandria, Helen, and Brayden, and you know they
and
tell
Justin.
Oh, wait. Who did I say?
Brayden.
Oh, not Brayden. Brayden already won. My bad. Okay, so we get down to Alexandria, Helen, and Justin, and you know, I was really thinking it was going to be Alexandria because as much as it is Heidi's show, I feel like Nina and Zach are, you know, like I've just heard that like Nina really
puts her
yes, exactly.
2 cents in?
Yes. So I was really surprised. But then they say, surprise, surprise, none of y'all are going home. Y'all are all going to create collections and come back and show them, and then we'll decide who goes. Now, already, we know that, you know, this already all happened, but the reason that they probably let them do this is because they have like anywhere from 7 to 8 designers actually show at Fashion Week, so that nobody can give away the ending to the show. So I don't really think it made any difference, because they were going to make collections, but now they actually get to compete for this last third spot to be like the final 3 and win. What did you think about that?
Do you think the decision had anything to do with the fact that Heidi didn't agree with the judges?
Yes.
And she was like, no, I'm going to keep her on, and I'm giving her another chance to prove herself.
Oh, absolutely. I totally think Heidi did that.
I was like, that is not fair, you know, because you can't do that with every single contestant.
But she's Heidi.
Exactly. You know, I was like, well, just take the dress and why don't you just wear it? Call it a day.
Yeah, or like I mean, in past seasons, they've had them, you know, rework your look in an hour and stuff like that. But, you know, I think they do try to make every season a little different, so that could be what it is, too. Maybe it isn't that Heidi, you know, just didn't want her to go home, but we'll see. So nobody got eliminated. I don't know. I kind of wanted somebody to go, but whatever.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I was ready to see someone go. I think when you're down to few people, it just makes it that much more intense, and it makes you, you know, it gives you more drive to create that one piece. And you see towards the end of the season is when people bring out their best collections. Yeah. Because they're put under the gun, and it's really, you know, stressful. You're on a deadline. And you just know that you have to bring it. And a lot of people save their best ideas for towards the end of the show, because they don't want to give out, you know, their best ideas in the beginning, and then they have nothing to give towards the end. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I was just a little bit disappointed, but, you know, maybe this will be for the best. And, you know, they all get to have hometowns with Tim, and they all get to create a collection anyways. So maybe with a little bit more time, you know, they will really show their true selves. Do you have any predictions?
Okay.
And
Even
now,
though
your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
even though I was ready to see Alexandra go home, I think she's going to stick around for another couple of episodes. I don't think Heidi is really ready to let her loose and let her go. You know, just be a butterfly, spread your wings and fly home.
Yeah.
But, you know, we could be wrong. Maybe, I mean, there's just two of us and plenty of other people watching the show, so
let us know what you think.
You know, yeah, exactly. People go on iTunes, rate, comment, tell a friend. It only takes a minute. So
or YouTube.
Exactly. We will read your comments and bring it up next week.
Yes, we will. And you know, I really hope Helen gets to stay. She's my favorite. I think she has the most potential if she has enough time. So that wraps it up tonight. Where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at RealEmmaK, and you guys can also go on to emmakcloset.com and look at some great outfits.
How cute. I'll definitely be sure to check that out. And you guys can find me at Virginia Reyna. Have a good night.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.